Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. As always, shout out to the 19 folks. We got a little WNBA stuff going on here. A little Elle Duncan returning to the channel. For those of you that have been around a while, you know who Elle Duncan is. We've talked about her a few times on the channel before. She has recently appeared on the Bohmani Jones podcast to share some of her deep thoughts. Now, to prepare you, these are not the same deep thoughts that you would get from Jack Handey. Not nearly as entertaining, not nearly as funny, not nearly as deep. So maybe they're just thoughts by Elle Duncan. But we are going to listen to a few. I picked a few out of this that I think are especially worth listening to and talking about. So let's dig in to what some of Elle Duncan has to say about the WNBA. And listen to the beginning of this very, very carefully, because if you're listening to this, you're probably a Caitlin Clark fan, probably an Indiana Fever fan. She's talking about you very clearly, especially listen to this if you're continuing to watch the WNBA without Caitlin Clark.
All right, Elle Duncan, you covered women's basketball on the college level, on the professional level, and for many years, you guys said you wanted some more attention. Well, how you like it now? How you like it? Are you happy? Are you glad we showed up? Have you enjoyed the ride this year? We're in the WNBA finals that have the bad timing of being right like during baseball playoffs and the NFL season, right? It's a tough go for them in that way. But we're here. We're here. We're here. Aren't you happy?
This is like finally having like a home and a backyard big enough to entertain more people, and then the new people that show up to the party show up with pitchforks, and you're like, ooh, never mind, this was bad, I should have curated this list a little better. Yeah, I have said repeatedly that this is the worst timeline right now, because if you even talk about basketball in a critical way, and I can understand, like, if you've got the one side where, like, if you talk critically about a basketball player, you get sort of, don't pile on, like, these women are already facing so much hate and vitriol, don't like add to that by talking critically about their basketball, which is kind of like our job. And then, of course, conversely, the second that you show love to anybody not named Caitlin Clark, you are part of, some constituency that's trying to keep her contributions at a minimum, and you're racist. And
Wow. So much there. But again, listen to the beginning. That is all about you, Caitlin Clark fans. Elle Duncan, once again, saying it out loud, making it very clear. They don't like you. They don't want you. She says, oops, should have curated that list better. She's gatekeeping the WNBA. They want to go back to just grifting off the NBA and having their 17 or 18 fans and being the way they've always been without anybody paying attention to them and criticizing what it is that they do. You are the ones that showed up with the pitchforks. Oh, and by the way, Elle Duncan, I'd just like to point out, Caitlin Clark fans are not like that. They have not been like that. That if you speak highly about anybody else, that you are an ist. Absolutely not true. You did that. Caitlin Clark fans just came from enjoying her at Iowa to now wanting to join her in the WNBA, but that wasn't allowed because she's too good and too popular, and she doesn't openly submit the way, say, a Cameron Brink does or a Paige Beckers has done. Cheryl Swoops did that when she went on the Gilbert Arenas podcast during the Caitlin Clark's senior year at Iowa, and lied and lied and lied and lied repeatedly. Lies about actual numbers, the dumbest lie you can tell, because people could just look it up. And Cheryl Swoops denigrated and downplayed Caitlin Clark's accomplishments. Monica McNutt did that. Asia Wilson did it. It was Asia Wilson who went out there and brought skin color into it and talked about Caitlin Clark's popularity being about that skin color. And that is why she was so popular. Again, downplaying what she has accomplished because Asia Wilson needed to get a shoe deal, which of course it turns out she already had. So Asia Wilson lied about that. Kennedy Carter downplayed it with her. What does she bring to the game besides threes? Have you figured it out yet, Kennedy Carter? The likes of Sabria Whitaker and Cindy Brunson did that with their hateful, racist vitriol. Dejanay Carrington did that, lying about Fever fans and not trolls, or lying about Fever fans by equating them with trolls may be the way I should put it. Oh, and then we had this. Do we remember this? I'll show that other one in a minute. ESPN's first WNBA rookie rankings right before Cameron Brink got hurt. Where's Caitlin Clark on this list? Number 6. And again, if people say, oh, well, the Fever didn't start out great. No, they didn't. They had a very difficult schedule. They started out 1-8. But again, go back. Caitlin Clark, as a rookie, she was still at, I don't have it in front of me this time. I've gone through it a million times. I should probably have them all memorized by now. But she was still like fastest player to, I think it was the fastest player to 100 points and 150 assists, and fastest player to 100 points, 50 rebounds, and 15 assists, and stuff she was doing in the first 10, 15 games, 8 games even. So she wasn't playing like she was at the end of the season, but she was still the best rookie. And instead, we've got a list that says Cameron Brink, Angel Reese, Kate Martin. Nothing against Kate Martin, but folks, come on now. This isn't downplaying. Then 4 was Rickea Jackson. And by the way, at the beginning of the season, Rickea Jackson wasn't even starting and she wasn't playing that much. And if you've paid attention to me and my videos, you know as the season went on, I've spoken very highly of Rickea Jackson. And I would say she was the second best rookie this year. Then you have Julie Van Loo at 5. Has there been any talk about Julie Van Loo in the Rookie of the Year? And then finally, Caitlin Clark all the way down at number 6. So yeah, she's been downplayed. She's been downplayed, Elle Duncan, without a doubt. And people have gone off after her and gone after her fans, not the other way around. By the way, has it been racially motivated when I or others like me have criticized Caitlin Clark herself, or say Diana Taurasi or Brianna Stewart or Kelsey Plum? Please let me know. And is it okay to criticize them? It's so hard to tell because you keep changing the rules and moving the goalposts. Oh, L. What else you got?
It's just, you're kind of damned if you do and you're damned if you don't at this point in the W, which has been really frustrating because the competition's never been better. The storylines have never been more plentiful. I am a firm believer, though, Bo, that like the bad faith characters that were sort of like, I'm only here for Caitlin. I'm only here. So much of that nasty rhetoric has toned down since the Fever got bounced from the postseason. And I don't think it's because necessarily people aren't watching. Like, we're still setting huge ratings increases, record ratings, despite it not being any Fever games involved. Obviously, her games saw exponentially more growth and more viewership, but we're still over-indexing anything that we had done in previous years.
So again, another insult to Fever fans because all that hateful rhetoric and vitriol that y'all bring, that's been toned down since Caitlin Clark is no longer in the playoffs. Once again, it is your fault. It is your fault. Wow. And about the ratings, and I did a ratings video just yesterday. It was the first one I'd done in a while. I kind of let the whole semifinals go. So I won't go crazy deep into that. But Caitlin Clark's 2 playoff games, 1.8 million, 2.54 million. No playoff game since. No other playoff game has reached 1 million viewers. Caitlin Clark averaged 1.178 million per game in the regular season. You had a rematch of last year's finals in the semis. No game hit a million. Now, a couple were close. There were 990,000, 980,000. Still didn't break a million. Were they a little better than last year? Yes. But last year was climbing back from the dip from a few years ago that most sports, because of everything that was going on. And none of these numbers, other than what Caitlin Clark did, have touched. Wait, these aren't records. They are, hey, we're finally kind of back close to what we were doing 20 years ago. If you look at the top playoff numbers for viewership on TV, they're all from the first 6 years of the league, 97, 98, 99, 2001, 2, 3. Those are the tops. Now, Caitlin Clark has pushed into that, but no other games have. These games are not setting records. The league is behind what it was 20 years ago. So that is not a truthful statement to say about what the league has done in the playoffs since Caitlin Clark has been bounced. And it's really terrible to say that the rhetoric and vitriol that y'all didn't like is calmed down, because basically the Caitlin Clark fans have left the building, is what Elle Duncan is trying to say. But we got one more little clip that we got to play from Elle and talk about here.
And then to have someone come in who has been amazing for the game, for the sport, of her own volition, worked really hard in Caitlin Clark, but to have this group of people come in and immediately invalidate the contributions of all of these women before her simply because they don't know, that's what's been frustrating, you know? So yes, people are going to talk about it more, but oh my God, please just educate yourself so that you can have bad takes that involve basketball and not bad takes that send racism and misogyny into the timelines of these women. It's unfair.
Well, for me, Elle Duncan, you want to talk about validating and invalidating and all that. For me personally, you invalidate every single thing you say when you tell me I have to get educated. When you spout absolute nonsense and gibberish, and then you're going to say the other side needs to get educated. You sound like LeBron James after saying something really dumb about where his shoes come from, and then saying y'all need to get educated. I gotta love when the person who's ignorant says get educated. It's absolutely breathtaking. I really, really appreciate it. But again, throwing the Fever fans under the bus. How dare you come into this league and not know everything about it and not praise the players that played 25 years ago? Oh my goodness. I guess maybe there should be a test. How about a test, Al? Everyone, before they go on social media and talk about the WNBA, before they watch a game, before any of that, they need to take a test that they have to pass about the history of the WNBA. Sure, it's never done in any other sport where it's not all about your feels and getting your feels hurt. This is what cry bullies do. They spout absolute nonsense. Then when people push back, they pretend that they are the victims. They are the ones that were attacked first, which we all know simply isn't true. By the way, I wonder if these are the fans that Elle Duncan's talking about. Sophie, that's Sophie Cunningham, by the way, Phoenix Mercury, and Cece both need to be blanked down, right? That, I don't know, that seems like a serious threat to me. And the person who posted said, man, these nasty Fever fans. Oh, wait. Now, see, here, I, unlike, say, Elle Duncan, am going to be fair and reasonable. And my guess is if you were to go to this person's timeline, you see a whole lot of this stuff because this is simply a troll. I am not going to ask Angel Reese to take time out of her busy offseason schedule to denounce this person and the things that they post. I'm not going to ask the WNBA to do it. Although, since it happens the other way, it happens to Caitlin Clark, maybe that's exactly what should be done. Man, they just cannot help themselves of constantly making things worse. Almost everything Elle Duncan said in here included jabs at the Caitlin Clark fan base. I mean, listen to the last part again. They live on Twitter, and this is why I brought this up, because what Elle Duncan said there at the end is exactly this point. This is what she's talking about. They live on Twitter, and they use trolls such as this one, but of course, this is inconvenient. They want trolls that are nasty to the other players and supportive of Caitlin Clark, and this is the opposite. So you will never see the likes of Elle Duncan on her show and using her platform to call out things like this. It's only the other way around. Maybe stop pretending social media is real life. Stop using it and using trolls that you know are trolls to go after Caitlin Clark and her fan base. Maybe that will start things headed in the right direction. Just maybe, Elle Duncan, if we can get away from all this nastiness and all these lies, we might be able to move in the right direction with the WNBA. Not counting on it, not counting on it after seeing an interview like this, but I will hold out just a little bit of hope. And again, just for you Fever fans, hey, look, if you have found players that you truly enjoy instead of, like, I don't know, being brainwashed because of how nasty they've been to you and you feel guilty and like you have to support the WNBA, if you've actually found some players you enjoy, great. But again, keep in mind, this is what they think of you. They don't want you. They don't like you. They will take your money for the viewership, though. They will include that and say, hey, look how great we're doing, even though it's actually bumped up from the Fever fans that have stuck around for the rest of the WNBA. And what they don't realize, or I should say what they don't care about, is there would probably be more Fever fans sticking around if they had been treated decently. In fact, they didn't even need to be treated at all, really. They just needed to be left alone. Caitlin Clark needed to be left alone to play ball, and you would have never seen any of this because none of it was instigated or started by Indiana Fever fans. Man, I'm going to leave it there because I could go on this one all day, and you're probably tired of hearing my voice. But hey, by the way, not sure who it is. Go check out. I don't know when they actually stopped. They might have brought back and done some more, but so they're probably not as good. But if you go back and find Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy from back in the day, that's from Saturday Night Live back, by the way, back when they had good stuff. Uh, you may find yourself entertained. But let me know your thoughts on Elle Duncan's comments in the comments below. Don't forget to like, also subscribe to the channel. I really, really do appreciate it. And yes, I know I say it every time, but that's because it's true. It really, really does help. YouTube is wild with what they decide is going to get shown and isn't going to get shown, and I have no idea how that happens other than y'all showing the channel some love. So I really do appreciate it, and I will talk to you later.